see. Are we live? Yeah, I'm hoping. Well, first off, let's start it this way. What's up, everybody? One more time. What's up, everybody? It's early in the morning, and man, what a night last night. Old man Ronin here. Welcome back to the channel. And yeah, I know another live stream, but hopefully we'll get the computer either today or first thing tomorrow, Tuesday at the latest. But I'm thinking we're going to be able to get it today. And like I say, guys, get on there and send me what we're going to talk about today is the, if I pull it forward, the Royal Enfield Himalayan, and talk about some of the different things that we've done to it already. I know we've had a lot of people, we've had a lot of videos on it before, but we've never really done a live stream dedicated directly to the Himalayan, and that's what we're going to do today. Talk about some of the upgrades we've made, some of the plans we have for the future, some of the trips we've got going on. And also some other news as well too. So we've got 4 people watching. Nobody's chatted yet. Like I say, I know it's kind of early. I'm actually looking at myself on the garage TV. Hey, I think there's a little delay because yeah, it just switched back, but now it's switching over there. Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay. Let's see. Wolfpack says hello, Ronin. Dirty Bull says hi. Dante says hello. Hey, everybody. Really want to thank you for joining us. Like I said, we and Rod Smith says hello. I better get my glasses. Like I said, it's been a crazy couple days. Marvin says hi from the Philippines. Hey, Marvin, how you doing? And I know Dante's from, I think, South America. Is that not correct? Again, fill me in. My being old man Ronin, the old memory isn't as good as it used to be. I try to do as best as I can. I'll tell you, I've had some really interesting things happen this week. And let's talk about that first, and we'll get into what's going on the last couple of days. But I had a gentleman who came up to the food truck here. What was it? Friday night? Yeah, Friday night. Dirty Bull says, lovely, more people watching. Yeah, I'm glad they are too. But I had a guy come up to the food truck, and he said he found us because he's 70 some years old and he wants to start riding motorcycles. And tell you that to me, you're never too old or you're never too young. Well, you're too young. I mean, if you can't walk, you're not riding. But I know it's one of those days. But he was telling me how much he really appreciates the channel, and I hope to heck that he's watching today. I'm not sure if he is or not, but he bought me a what they call a growler of beer, and that was really unexpected. And I really do think of it. And yeah, and Dante, you're from Bolivia. That's awesome. That's awesome. Iron Lady's there. Good morning, Iron Lady. I'll tell you, hard night of sleep. Just didn't work real well for me last night. I don't know if we drank too much wine. Probably. We're big fans of with spicy food, and I made a shrimp out of a spice blend that I use. It's called Pacific Northwest. It's more for salmon, but any kind of fish works for it. And we were doing that. Turmeric's good for the memory. Yeah, I know it doesn't work for me. Been eating it my whole life, so imagine how I would be without it. Yeah, we did this shrimp dinner last night with some wild rice and some peas, not mushy peas, but peas, and it was really good. And we drank a lot of wine with it. And yeah, if you keep talking about food, you really should show us. And I'm going to. That's one of the plans in the future. We're going to do some camping stuff, but I don't want to. I want to make sure this channel grows, and I don't want to get too off a subject. And so we're going to do some moto camping cooking, but I doubt if I'm actually going to take you into the food truck with me. When I first started YouTubing, I didn't want to do the motorcycle right away because I wanted to see what it was like. So I started this other channel called Our Country Living. Good morning from Germany. Good morning. We started it called Our Country Living, and I did a few recipes on there just to see how I would look on camera. And it's kind of funny because when you're talking on your phone, I'm not exactly sure where the camera is. So I'm just looking here in the corner because I think that's where it is. But let's see. What do you say there? Good morning from Maine. Oops. Sorry about that, the wiggle. Good morning from Maine. We got lobster, good weather, and landlocked salmon. Don't forget to pack your pole. True. Let's see. And Randy says, hello from Vermont, New England. Yeah, we got a couple of New Englanders there, Maine and Vermont. That's fantastic. But I'll tell you what, we made this shrimp dinner yesterday, and we had a bunch of wine, and we did a late harvest Riesling, which really pairs nice with the rice and the light flavor of the shrimp with the seasoning that I put on it, and it was really delicious. So I think after we ate the food and we got into the wine a little bit deeper, so. I'm tired this morning, and it's crappy as heck weather. I was going to say welcome to the first day of fall because it's what, 48 degrees out there, which is what, 8 Celsius? Come on, guys. It was 90 last week. What's going on? Again, Ohio being the bipolar state, that and at least we're not getting any snow right now. We did. I'll tell you, it's kind of funny because back in April we had really nice weather, and then all of a sudden it snowed. And now with the same kind of thing in May, we had really nice weather, and then it got cold down to 48 degrees, and it's been cloudy and rainy. We didn't have any rain for a couple of weeks there at the beginning of May, and now we've got a lot of it. But again, what we're going to talk about is this crappy weather we're having, and of course the Himalayan, which handles the crappy weather. And if you guys don't know, I run a lot of Harley-Davidsons. We have, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 7 Harley-Davidsons in the shop. Well, obviously not all mine, but Iron Lady has hers here, and of course Ems has hers here for a little bit longer. I am going to be doing something exciting, and that's why let's bend out of the shot here. And if you watched my Wednesday live stream, we showed you the Super E. I'm gonna try to get that light off there. The Super E headlights that we're going to be installing, showing you 3 videos on it here, and like I said, and then we're going to do a first impressions. Sorry, I stepped out of camera. First impressions, and then we're going to also do a comparison between a stock headlight and the Super E. And that Super E, I'll bring it back. That Super E has these little halos on the side that works as a halo, and then when you turn your turn signal on, if you wire it that way, which I'm going to, it becomes the turn signals, and they're bright orange, and it's pretty cool. They're not only going to show you that headlight, but I'm also going to be giving 2 of them away. And how we're going to do it is starting then. Let's see. Hello from Vermont. Been waiting since the end of the March from a Himalayan. Thanks a lot of the content. Hold me over till it comes. And the mod. Okay, we'll talk about some mods too, which we're going to do here. But we're going to give 2 away, and how we're going to do that is. When we start the video, it'll be the first install video. At the end of that, we're going to tell you what link to go to, because if you don't win them, you can get a 15% discount using a coupon code that I'll put on there. But we're not going to do it. We're not going to get these out until June, and the reason why is because Super E, talking to them, say they want to have a really good supply because they have a feeling it's going to do really well off the channel here. So we'll make sure they have a good supply of the 5 3/4 and 7-inch down the road, which is why we're not doing it on the Himalayan, because that's a 7-inch headlight. But we will be doing one of those down the road. It'll probably be sometime in July or August, and we'll do a program for that. But if you have any motorcycle that has that 5 3/4-inch Sportsters, Dynas, some of the Japanese motorcycles, pretty much any motorcycle, Triumph, that has that smaller 5 3/4-inch, not the giant 7-inch like what's on the Harleys. Most of the Harleys, the bigger models have that, but you'll be able to either win or buy it at a really good discount. And like I say, I have a little bit of experience with Super E, and they're really good quality. And again, stepping out of the realm again, one of the things that's pretty cool about it, it's an aluminum case. It's not plastic, so it's built very heavily. They do a lot of stuff with Jeeps as well too, and we have Jeeps obviously, but it's one of those products that I'm not sponsored by them. They approached me and said, would you do a video? And I said, well, here's what we're going to do. I will only do a video if you give me one to install, but more important than that, you give me a couple to give away and a discount. And they were all about that. Been waiting since the end of March. That's the guy from Maine. Oop, lost you. Thanks for some of the content. Hold me over till it comes. Any mods one should do right off the bat when it comes in? Yes, and I'll tell you exactly what that is here in a second. Good evening. Oops. Good evening again from Australia. Hey, mate. And I know I say that, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but that's what you say down there to friends, right? And since you guys are my friends, that's what I'm going to call you. And any place of the old, the UK or British Empire, we talk about mate, except for America, of course, we're buddy or pal. But one of the first, and we'll start talking about the Himalayan now. I'm kind of scattered a little bit because, like I said, rough night, too much wine. I know. I know better, shouldn't I, at this age? Chad says, good day, mate, or China. Okay. I don't know what that means, but unless you're from China, and that's really cool. Because, I don't have many people that watch in China, which is unusual. India, we have a huge following. I know it's probably still, I don't know what time it'd be over there now. It'd probably be late in the afternoon. Dirty Bull says, here in the Netherlands, we call each other sometimes mate as well. That's cool. So, I mean, it's kind of a universal thing, the way it sounds. Again, I've been in a lot of places in the world over the years, but I really, it's been a while now, and I really don't have the memory to remember what everybody says. Okay, it's 5:40 p.m. Oh, good, right in the middle of the day. Hey, how are you? How is it going? Cold, 50 degrees up here, headed to Smithport, Pennsylvania. Yeah, it's 48 here, so I mean, that's pretty, it is what it is. See if we can touch the screen and not wiggle it too much to get that chat to come back. One of the problems with doing a live stream on the phone is the fact that, and I'm looking at my TV, is the fact that the chat comes up for a second. If I can read it real quick and then it goes away. So pardon me if I miss you. I'm trying not to. I need, what do they call, one of those, I watch a video channel on YouTube called Traveling Robert, and he's doing something that I want to do with my channel down the road, and watching from south of France. Hey, greetings. And Dirty Bull says, yes, sir. 41, we had frost. Yeah, we had that at the beginning, frost advisory. Never did get that cold, but what's going on, man? Well, I have a joke because, the older you get, the faster time goes by. So I always tell Iron Lady that once it hits Memorial Day, summer's over, because it seems like it's going to be just a matter of seconds. And Mark says hi from Australia. Greetings, and again, hi, mate. I know I didn't have an accent there, but we're trying. But I had a question earlier that said, what's one of the first mods that you can do? So we're going to pull you out of the slot here and walk over to the Himalayan, and I'll show you the first mod. Pardon me, I'm trying not to flash you with the light, but one of the first mods that you should do more than anything else is this right here, and I hope you can see it. You see this little wire here? Is it seeable? I've got my hand there. Oh, try that. There we go. That right there is called a Battery Tender Junior. And what the Battery Tender Junior does is maintains your battery. Nice, but it's not a Harley. Okay. The Battery Tender Junior maintains your battery. It's a trickle or float charger. And I know a lot of guys, now I don't know about anymore, but a lot of guys when I first got the Himalayan were saying, man, the batteries are terrible. They're terrible. They don't last at all. I've had absolutely no issue with it. And now it's had it, well, next month it'll be a year that I've had the motorcycle. And not one time have I ever had an issue with the battery. Now, I have it plugged, not today, because I had to bring it in the shop for this video. But I've not had one issue with it, and I keep it plugged in constantly. Wiley says you can split your screen. You can watch YouTube for a second. If I knew how to do that, man. Now, that may be true on a computer. Like I said, I'm doing this on my phone. And like I said, I'm not that technically savvy, and you guys know that. The reason we are doing these live streams is because our computer is down, and like I said, we're going to pick it up today. And we've changed the entire system. I got a brand new computer. I've got 2 monitor system for the editing, and I got an ultra wide screen, so it makes my timeline a lot bigger, so it'll be easier. Okay, great. You send me an email. That'd be fantastic. It'll help out a lot. But that way I can edit easier too, and it's a lot faster. Like I said, I was running old style computer stuff. Changed my battery already, put battery switch in. And that's one of the things people tell me. Now this battery here, it's a 2018. It was purchased in 2020 by the original owner. I bought it off of him a couple months later, and I've had no issues with it. It starts every time, no problem whatsoever, without switching of the battery after 3 days flat. And see, that's what people were telling me. My first mod that I made to it was put a Battery Tender Junior on it and 0 problems. There was a comment there that I missed. already advised its dealers to do some change on the wires to eliminate bacteria problem. Are you saying bacteria, or are you talking about a parasitic drain? Because there may be a parasitic drain. Charity says, hi from Belgium. Greetings, greetings. Yeah, there pretty much anytime you have a battery hooked up to it's got a clock in it, you're going to have a parasitic drain. Now, on my Harleys, some of them have alarms on them, not necessarily alarms, but a security thing that you press and it won't let anything start. But it's constantly making sure that nobody's messing with your motorcycle. So there's a parasitic drain on those as well too. And if you don't ride your bike for a while, especially in the wintertime, it brings stuff down. So every one of my motorcycles, the first thing that I do is put a float or trickle charger what do you call it? Battery, not bacteria. That's what I figured, but I wasn't sure. But I put a trickle charger on it, and that's what I did on the Himalayan, and I have no problem whatsoever. Question there, the guy from Maine, parasitic drain, didn't know we were talking about. Parasitic drain, basically, let's see, talking about this, about kids in the, yeah, exactly. Hi there, Ronin, thanks for the decal. Hey, Nick, you're the one I talked about earlier. He actually came to the food truck and he bought me a growler of beer. And thank you so much, Nick. It's very well received and very well appreciated. And everybody say hi to Nick, because he's in his 70s and wants to learn how to ride a motorcycle. And I think that's fantastic. I really want to encourage him to get out there and ride, particularly with some changes in his life that's happening right now. And we really want to appreciate him and welcome him to the motorcycle community. They're right on. Escape says, hi, Nick. Say you're getting some love already, man. One of the other things we did to the Royal Enfield Himalayan, and one of the first things I did, and we'll, again, take you out of and again, bear with me, it's not like a regular camera. One of the first things I did was put on this phone mount. And I did it for not only my camera, but I also did it so I could have a GPS hooked to it later. And it also has a USB port right here as well too. And those things are really important for me as a traveling person. Another thing I did was I put these crash bars on from GV. And this is something you haven't seen much yet, because the computer's been down since I put these on. But these Royal Enfield Handguards, I raised the fender 20 millimeters so it's bigger tires with more aggressive tread. Of course, we put on the pannier rails and the turn signal relocation bracket. Another thing that I did over here was put on this heel guard for to protect the plunger for the rear master cylinder. And we talked about the Lomo, and it's down there in a box yet. I put it on, but I don't keep it on all the time, which I love about the Lomo is you can take it in and off all the time. And if I'm doing just some simple riding around, then these little side bags from Hitchcock's out of the UK are fantastic. They help me do a lot of just carrying some stuff. Like I put a fuel bottle in there occasionally, which I've never really done a long enough trip to use the fuel bottle in a necessary way, but I wanted to make sure it fits. So I carry 2 fuel bottles, and if you don't know what those are, it's something I've had for a long time. Now I did buy 2 brand new ones. These are from Lowbrow Customs out of Ohio. And they're basically little fuel bottles that you fill up, obviously, with gasoline. Don't use them for water or drinking or anything like that. But they hold gasoline really well, and they've got a nice seal to them. And the cool thing about them is they've got this little bracket on the back, and it fits, and it ties directly in the back side of my panniers with the, pardon me for walking away again, for beside the Lomo down in the side. And save space. It's really great. Now, I seen there's a couple comments when I was rattling on there. Let me see if we can find them here. Come on back. Nope, didn't come back. But maybe somebody else made a comment. I did see something flash by. Everybody's greeting Nick, and I really appreciate that. Like I said, we want to make sure everybody, again, the chat's not only to ask me questions, but talk amongst yourselves as well too. Man, we've already got 19 minutes. We're going to keep this one fairly short and sweet. Like I said, the main thing I wanted to touch base with is talking about the Himalayan and what it's meant to me, and what it means to the people on this channel. This motorcycle has really opened the door on a lot of different possibilities for me, not only riding more and more gravel and off-roads and off-road trips. We actually have a little, it's not really a Trans-Ohio trail because it only covers a little bit of Ohio, but we're going to be doing that here in the next 2 weeks. And we're going to be putting videos out with the on the Trans-Ohio Trail with the Royal Enfield Himalayan. Now, it's so close to me that I'm not going to actually be doing any overnight camping. We're going to be doing that in our regular camping spot. But that's what we're going to encompass some of the the moto camping and the moto cooking, camping cooking, and some of the other things like that too. I'm going to go through my list of what to carry when you go on a moto camping trip. I've got a lot of my lifetime experiences is probably twice of what most of you guys are as far as for motorcycles and stuff. Okay, what we got here? Everybody says hi to Nick. That's great. Fatima says love the Himalayan, but year and a half the rubber parts are cracking. That's one thing that a lot of people don't do is simple maintenance. And I don't care what kind of motorcycle that you have, you've got to take care of all the parts. And one of the things that you do, not only like with Harleys and stuff like that, and particularly if it sits outside, you've got to make sure the things are clean and they're treated. And like I say, some kind of soft, I use like a leather type conditioner on my seats on my Harley, but on the rubber parts, I use a slate rubber conditioner, and I don't have any right here to show you, but you can use something simple like WD-40 and just wipe it on the rubber parts, and that'll help, because sun cracking and things like that, everything, you have to take care of stuff. And most people don't. I mean, and that's the problem. They buy the motorcycle or they buy the car, or they buy the tractor or whatever. Now you guys seen it on Facebook, not Facebook, but Instagram yesterday. I put a thing about our pickup truck. I call it Big Red, and that thing's a 2008, and here we're approaching, well, what, 15, 16 years in that truck, and it looks like it's brand new. The reason why is we keep care of it. We keep it washed and waxed and in the garage. And if you take care of the stuff, it'll take care of you. And that's one of the things I dislike guys that have adventure bikes and don't wash them. And the reason why, I don't say I dislike them, I dislike that tactic because it's not a badge of honor. It's a badge of laziness, if you ask me. And I know they're probably going to get some crap on the YouTube channel here for that. But the reality of it is, when you're washing and caring for your bike, not only will things last longer, but you'll be able to see if things go wrong. In other words, if you're washing your motorcycle and you got your hands on it with your little towel and rubbing it down, you can see, something loose. Now, I have a video. In fact, if guys are asking about mods, I have several different mod videos on there of what we've done for the build series and also what we've done mods so far and what plans were for the mods. And you can get that in the catalog there. Let's see. Things last if you take care of them. Exactly. And that's one of the things that... good night, Craig. Okay, Craig says he's going to go to bed. Good night, Craig. Again, trying to catch up when we see it flash up there. But if you take care of things, they'll take care of you. And rubber parts and plastic parts are one of those things that really will deteriorate under sun and greasy conditions. If you wipe them down and treat them, they'll last pretty much forever. But you've got to take care of it. And like I said, with my Hemi, the main rubber parts that I'm looking at are down. Where are we at? Down there on the fork covers. And but anything like that plastic, I make sure that I clean and treat and make sure that it stays out of the sun as much as possible. Covers are good if you don't have access to a garage or a shop. Texas says, yes, true. When you take care of your bike, it takes care of you. And that's one of the things, like I said, it's kind of like a I don't know if it's a mantra, some of the adventure riders, that they never wash their bikes and they're muddy. And number one, your resale value is going to suck. Number two, you're not going to know when things are going wrong. Only 9:55 p.m. here in South Australia, still wide awake. Great. Glad you're joining us. Really do appreciate it. We got 37 people watching this, and I didn't give much notice today because I was kind of hoping I'd have the computer yesterday, but the guy that is working on it went into Columbus, and that's kind of a haul for him. Let's see. Proud owner of a classic 350 from Goa in India. Again, take care of stuff. All my motorcycles are old. I mean, the newest one is the Himalayan by far. a bit late, all the way from South Africa. Greetings from South Africa. I know Itchy Boots is down there, and too bad she's not running a Himalayan down there. She's running a Honda. But, she's one of the reasons why I bought the Himalayan, watching her and Kamikaze Moto, or Karmakaze Moto, up in Alaska. They showed me that those bikes are able to go, because I had virtually no experience with Royal Enfield, except for riding the old Bullet back in years ago. But those two people really showed me that these motorcycles were capable of doing things that I wanted to do with them. In other words, I ride them rough, and I also take care of them. It's one of those type of things. You use your tools. It is a tool, but you got to clean your tools. You don't want your tools all rusty and crappy, do you? Looking between a KLR 650 and a Hemi, what would you go with and why? Well, I've ridden both the KLR and the Hemi, and it really, either one is going to be a good choice. And the new KLR looks like it's pretty nice. Let's see, down under, lockdown again. I'm sorry, man. It makes me hurt that the guys are in lockdown. Hi from York, in the sunny and warm, just fitted chain oiler. And a lot of people are using those chain oilers, because I'll tell you what, the Himalayan chain is not that good. That's one of the big problems I have with the Himalayan is the chain. Now I ride my motorcycle year round, which means I'm on the salty, crusty, crappy roads of Ohio when it's icy and snow out there, and the salt and the other chemicals they put on the road is really hard on that chain. So one of the things I'm going to do coming up before next winter is change the chain to a more stout style chain. Again, but getting back to taking care of things. Let's see, I'm glad we've got one of clean bikes. Keeping care of your motorcycle, keeping care of you. It's just like, how many guys, and if you're hunters, how many guys will go out there and not ever clean your weapon? You have to. You have to make sure that you maintain it. Same thing with your knives. Do you let your knives just not sharpen them at all and just buy new ones all the time? I don't know. It just seems to me that would be a waste of money. The guy asked me before about the KLR and the Hemi. I'm a little biased on the Himalayan because I like the low end torque of it. Now the KLR has some good low end torque as well too. It's going to depend on what you want to do. If you're going to ride higher highway speeds, then obviously the KLR would be a better bike for you, because the Himalayan will do 65 miles an hour, like 105 kilometers, something like that. But I wouldn't go any higher than that, particularly for long periods of time. There's a rule of thumb in the mechanic world when people ask how fast should you ride your motorcycle for periods of time. Never run your motorcycle like over 2 hours at over 90% of its red line. In other words, if you're like the Himalayan, mine is 6,200 RPM. I don't like to run it any higher than 5,500 RPM for an extended period of time. I just don't think that's smart. It's too hard on that little engine. Again, we're talking about a long stroke engine that piston is moving a long way up and down as it's running, and it really fast speeds that long. It's not like a little small, like a Humminbird engine, like the pretty much every other motorcycle out there. And they have the really high revving RPM. They don't even get half of their horsepower or torque until it gets way up there above 5,000 RPM, and that's not what the Himalayan does. Let's see. Mine never goes above 5,500. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. You really don't want to go that high. And I've taken mine as high as 6,000 RPM in a short burst, just to see how quickly I could maintain speed or get up to like 0 to 60 miles an hour. But it's one of those things. It's not bit for that. That's not what it's for. The Himalayan is it's a mule. It's a horse. It's a tractor. It's a tool to use at low RPM. If you can literally, using the friction zone, and if anybody doesn't know what that is, ask me here real quick. But using the friction zone, standing up on the motorcycle, in a combination of the rear brake, and I very seldom use the front brake when I'm standing up, but using that, you can pretty much go anywhere at extremely low speeds. Basically, a mule that you ride from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. What? Missed that. Try it again. Basically, a mule that you ride from 4 to 8 during rides. Okay, true. Replacement chain sprockets, I missed that. What's the idle RPMs in the Himalayan? It depends, again, on a lot on temperature and stuff, but mine's revving right around 800, 900 RPM, something of that nature. And not that much. you can adjust it down. Again, with EFI, it's going to be a little bit different. Have your dealer do it for you. We've talked about this numerous times. I'm not going to give you any technical information that could possibly damage or mess up your motorcycle. You just can't turn a mule into a racing horse. No, you can't. But again, the reason why I say that's because I don't want to be blamed for you messing up your motorcycle. I don't know your abilities, and that's one of the reasons why I do. Whenever I ride, I take a break every 100 kilometers, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I've traveled, let's see, 9 times to California on motorcycles. I've traveled to Alaska. I've traveled to Mexico several times. Good morning, late night, slept in again. Yeah, Andy, it seems to be a problem with you. That's signified, guys. Say hello to Andy. But I've been, all over North America, literally, with the motorcycles. And it's one of the things that I believe in. It's one of the reasons why, I took a Sportster a couple times to California, and none of them had over 4-gallon tanks. And, basically, and again, they're not that most comfortable. It's not a Road King, man. It's not a touring bike. And when you take them those far, I'm old. Yeah, I know. When you take them that far, it's nice to get off once in a while. It's not like a car where you can wiggle around and adjust your butt. Motorcycle, you can a little bit, but again, it's more or less you're paying attention constantly. So it's good to get off, get gas every 100 miles, and that's usually what I do. And that way it gives me a break, grab a cup of coffee if I need it or whatever, or just walk around a little bit and, make sure it's a good time to check stuff out. I have that guy from Maine says, scooter life, spent 2 years at wide open throttle and 35 mile per hour Himalayan will be adjustment. It is. And I mean, like I said, I've got a lot of motorcycles that run really fast, pretty expensive bikes. It depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking a Himalayan versus a Harley, nope. Does changing exhaust really make the bike fast or something? When you're talking about those lower CC engines, and particularly ones that are built for torque and low horsepower to begin with, you're not going to get that much. That's one of the reasons why I'm not doing a booster plug. It's another reason why I'm not changing anything on the exhaust, because you're talking minuscule. If you're looking for a fast motorcycle, the Himalayan is not for you. It's something that is going to be a workhorse. Think of it as your tractor or your mule and what you're going to use it for. It's not going to be the motorcycle you're going to take on the Autobahn in Germany. You're just not going to do it. I mean, you can, but people are going to be cussing you out and probably trying to run you over. The best thing for you to do if you're going to be doing that kind of thing is to buy yourself either an Interceptor or a Harley-Davidson or a Honda. Well, maybe not a Honda. Just kidding. No, but any motorcycle will do you. I'm a huge Triumph fan too. I've had Triumphs and Nortons in my past, and I really love them. I don't have any right now. I'm looking for a older Triumph to rebuild, like I do my Harleys. But man, for some reason they're super popular. The hipsters are all digging them. Let's see, anything above 100 kilometers in Indian roads is basic kilometer. That's true. That's like on my back roads where you see me ride the Himalayan all the time. You're not going 65 miles an hour back those roads. If you are not only insane, but you're going to damage not only your equipment, but your body. When you're on a gravel road, you're running 35 miles an hour, or what would that be in kilometers? Right around 50 kilometers, maybe something like that per hour. Let's see, even interstate highways, no one knows how, well, it's true. But that's not what it's built for. It's like taking a Volkswagen Beetle and taking it to a quarter-mile drag strip. What? I love my Hemi, but actually thinking about, whoops, lost it. See if we can get it back. Nope, didn't get it back. Yeah, there it is. Love my Hemi, but actually thinking about a Triumph Bonneville as an alternative for freeway ride. And that's what I'm talking about. Now, if you're a city person or you're a country person that doesn't need to go on the highway, it's the perfect bike. In fact, I have a video about is the Himalayan a bike for you? And again, particularly guys and gals that are new to the channel, look through my catalog of old videos. And particularly ones that in the group that says Royal Enfield Himalayan. Pretty much all the motorcycles that videos that I've shown are made on those are in there, and they may look a little redundant after a while, but the reality of it is there's always new stuff in each one of the videos, and it tells me it has my growth pattern. Like one of my most popular videos that I've done lately is called "I've Changed My Mind About the Himalayan." And it was based on my first impressions video when I first got the motorcycle. And so what I did is I did the first impressions, and then 8 months later, it changed my mind about some of the things I would do and what I wouldn't do with it. And I'll put it to you this way. If you're thinking about roads under 65 miles an hour, you can ride 2 up to that speed. Iron Lady and I took it to Florida this last year, and we were down on and again, we weren't on the highway, but we were down running the roads, and we were running 2 up at 65 miles an hour without any issue. And I think it was 5,500 RPM or 5,600 RPM with both of us that speed. So Mark get a Continental. I bottomed out my Hemi on potholes with the suspension. Is that the front end or the back end? A lot of guys are talking about they bottom out the back end more than they do the front. And again, you have a little bit of adjustment there, but if you're riding really fast and really hard, let's see, front end. Okay, then if you're bottoming out at because it does have a very soft front end, and the reason why it has a soft front end is for mostly off-road use. It's going to give you a little bit more bounce to it. You can adjust and replace the springs in there, and get a little bit heavier duty. Again, one of the cool things about the Royal Enfield Himalayan, or Royal Enfield in general, and one of the coolest things about Harley-Davidson, and one of the reasons why I love both of these brands, is the fact that they are very similar in the idea you can really upgrade each and every piece of it. And in other words, if you're having an issue with suspension, and let's say you're a heavier person like me, over 230 pounds, you can beef up the rear suspension. You got a slight little adjustment, but you can also buy other monoshocks that gives you a little bit more stiffer suspension. You can do the same thing with the front end. And I really encourage you to go to Hitchcock's UK and check out. They have a lot of upgrades there. They even have a 465 cubic inch or cubic centimeter. Sorry, not 465 cubic inch. That'd be huge. 465 cubic centimeter upgrade that you can rebuild the engine. Not avoid your warranty, but you can do that, and that way it'll give you more upgrade power. But you can also change the teeth on the sprockets to give you a little bit more power, or you can lower them, or you can change them and make them give a little bit more speed. You're not going to get a lot. Again, it's only 410 or 411 cc's, and that's one of the things you have to be aware of. Let's see. You can't jump this bike like a dirt bike. Well, no. Why? Again, you're talking about a dirt bike that's usually a very, very short stroke with extremely high RPM and extremely light. This bike weighs 400 pounds, and it's kind of heavy when it comes to the ADV, but the center of gravity is nearly perfect. I would say it's the best ADV style bike, and I've ridden since when I first got the Himalayan. I had virtually no experience with ADVs. I had experience with dirt bikes. It's not a dirt bike, but I've taken it on pretty much every trail that I've ever taken on a dirt bike, and it would go anywhere I wanted to go. Now, I'm not jumping stuff. I'm crawling over. I've jumped this bike on a huge broken pothole highway, 439 versus 270 in most 250 class dual sports in weight. Yeah, and you're right. It's heavy, but that heaviness will help you when you're touring, and that's what I like about it. I know you're not supposed to, but at over 80 kilometers, when you hit, what did it say? Lost you. When you hit one, you don't have a choice. Oh, of course. I mean, hopefully you're looking ahead of you and see what's coming up. Just wondering what level of, darn it. I keep losing you guys. Let's see. Just wondering what level of suspension was capable of. Again, I don't know what you weigh. And one of the things that people, when they buy motorcycles, they don't take in consideration how the bike fits you. And a good dealer will fit the bike to you. And that made me, if you're a large person, maybe upgrading the suspension for you and that's something to talk about your dealer. Atreus, hey, see you, man. Take care. Always good to hear from you. Ciao. But a good dealer will fit the motorcycle to you. Harley dealers are notorious for this. A lot of other motorcycle companies won't. So I'm not familiar with buying a bike from a Royal Enfield Royal Enfield dealer. I've never bought a new Royal Enfield. Heck, I've only bought one new Harley. But I do know that you can go into a Harley dealer and ask them. Most of them, like we have a couple that are really good in my area. They're a little ways away from me. I'm actually dead set in the middle of them. One of them is called Finks in Zanesville, Ohio, and the other is AD Faro in Columbus. And AD Faro has 2 locations. But if you go in there and you're looking for a bike, they will actually, again, you have to ask the question because they're not pushy over there, either place. You go in and you ask a question, well, what would be a good bike for me? And be honest, say, don't go in there with the ego saying, I've been riding for 100 years when you've never been on a motorcycle before. They're not really, nobody's impressed with lies. And so what you do is you go in there and say, hey, I'm new to motorcycling. I really want to do this. I really want to have a bike that's going to either last me a lifetime or it's going to last me till I learn to upgrade. If you go in there with that kind of attitude and say, let me sit on the bike, and they're going to help fit you with the right handlebar height, the right seat height, and the right size for you. Turbo Busa, #1 starter bike. Don't know. I started on a Rupp 100 back in the early 70s, and that was my very first motorcycle. It was like I say, a Rupp. It was 100. It's made in Mansfield, Ohio. They're not around anymore. But and then I jumped to an RM 125, and then I jumped up to different RMs, a 390, and then I've always had off and on dirt bikes my whole life. And of course, then everybody that's watched the channel knows that I went immediately to a 1966 XLCH 1000 cc Harley-Davidson Sportster that I immediately took off road because I was only 14 years old. Have you ever owned a Triumph Scrambler? No, I've never owned one. I've ridden them. They're great motorcycles. They're not, I wouldn't put the Scrambler in the same realm as the ADV. And the reason why I say that is because a Scrambler is a good motorcycle to go on gravel roads and occasionally on a dirt road, but it's not built for true off-road riding. It's just not built for it. You can go a little bit off. 80, it's kind of like a dirt bike is built when you don't take a dirt bike on the road. That's not where it's made. That's not what it's built for. You don't take a Harley in the dirt unless it's, you've turned into a Scrambler. But then again, it has its limitations. Those motorcycles are built for like roads, whether it's gravel or dirt. It's not built for trails. The ADV bike, a good one, like the Royal Enfield Himalayan, you can do trails. And if you guys have watched any of my videos, you've seen I've taken them on deer trails where it's literally maybe this wide and I'm going in between trees and things like that at really low speeds where I'm standing up and wiggling the bike around where you're crawling. You're not running at 15, you're not running at 5 miles an hour. You're running it basically, I call it, walking the motorcycle, where it's literally just, you're using your friction zone and you're slowly but surely making your motorcycle crawl through those areas or walk through those areas. And your feet are not on the ground; their feet are on the pegs. But you're going extremely slow to get around obstacles, and the bike is perfect for that. And that's one of the reasons why I love the thing so much. I'll be honest with you, if I've had other bikes and been on other ADV motorcycles, you can't do that with, particularly the high revving ones. I'm not going to mention any names. I never talk bad about anything. But there's other motorcycles out there that are higher revving, that have a shorter stroke, that doesn't get their power until it gets in higher in the RPM. You cannot do that with them. Because number one, if you're crawling and you're using your friction zone and you have to quarter throttle your engine just to get the power to be able to move the rear wheel in those really, really tough situations, if you slip your clutch a little bit, boom, your front end's up, you're falling down, you're sliding your back end out. Whereas the exact opposite is true with the Himalayan. If I'm going really slow, I'm doing idle most of the time, and it's just walking through these areas. I encourage you guys to go watch Can It Take It, and also that's probably my best video that shows the different roads that I'm able to take the Himalayan on. It's Can It Take It's a really popular video too. And there's a couple of them where I'm talking about gravel roads and things like that. There's a couple of videos that I have on that. Please go to those and check them out. If I was now hopefully my next video will be able to put little tabs and things like this and pictures like I usually do. But that's one of the things I wanted to touch base with you on, is particularly how the Himalayan's been acting for me and what we've been doing. And look at the time, we've got almost 44 minutes in this video. And I really didn't plan it to be this long, but we've got a lot of people still on here. Suspension is fine. I'm 6'4", 270, adjusting preload on rear. I have no issue riding in dirt. I say the same thing. I haven't bottomed out my front end at all. And but then again, man, I gotta watch what I say, because the first time you jinx yourself, it's over. When what new tires would you put on? I haven't decided yet. There's a couple of them that I'm looking at, and I will not tell you until I'm ready to buy them. I would love a Himalayan. What's it say? Are they not available? No kidding. I did not know that. It's probably why Itchy Boots is down there riding a Honda. A Honda? Just kidding. It can take it, but can it cope? You're an ass. There's a story behind that, and it's only between me and Andy. Hemi is one for people who are not looking for speed. Exactly. You're looking for enjoyment. Now, there is one motorcycle that I want to try, and it's going to surprise you. I had a friend, I'm going to call him a new friend, that I met at another one of my services for the food truck, and he was in a Zero FX. I think it's what it's called, FX. And he was telling me about some of the fun that he's having in the Powerland area down in Southern Ohio. And he was telling me how fun it is because it's, I mean, there's no shifting, there's no clutch and things like it. It's all on your wrist, which you have to really watch on electric bikes like that, because I've ridden the Livewire and I've ridden the Zeros, but I've never ridden the FX. But I mean, they'll go right now. So it's like there is no lag. It's boom, instantaneous. But I'd like to try that off-road and see what it'd be like. Now, would I ever buy one? Probably not. And the reason why, and I've said this 1,000 times, my youngest son is quite the environmentalist. And he asked me, he says, Dad, why don't you even look at the electric bikes? And I said, here's the reason why. If I was able to charge the electric bike to get me to basically a 100-mile range like you are on a Sportster, in the same amount of time it would take me to fill up my gas tank, I would be checking them out. Unfortunately, technology is not there yet. And I ride long distances a lot. So to be honest with you, it would be kind of anticlimactic for me to buy an electric bike that I couldn't do that charging ability. I know that Zero says they can do it as quick as an hour and a half or 2 hours. That's great. But let's say I'm riding along, down the road and I'm heading to California. I got to pull off and wait an hour and a half in between each 100 miles. Not doing it. So I just ordered, let's see, what type of helmet? Whoop, lost that one. Let's see. Wild says, my budget's very tight. So looking at I don't know what that is. The Hero X-Pulse. I don't know what that is either. Does the type of helmet matter on certain bikes, or is this about protection and looks? Well, let's answer that one first. I never had a visor. And let me grab it real quick. I'm going to step out of the realm for a minute. I never had what they call an ADF style helmet until I got this here, and it's a Zox. And I'll tell you, one of the things I like about it is this visor. And in fact, it's one of those things. Back in the 70s, I used to have the 3/4 helmets, and I put the little visor and snap on the buttons on the front. But this one here gives me the ability to record because it's a full face. And this is my camera mount here. But it has this visor. And to be honest with you, I don't even need to wear sunglasses most of the time. It does have a pull-down sunglass visor here. But I really like it. And I ride it I use it when I'm riding the Himalayan. Now, the helmet I use for the Harleys, sorry about walking out, but is this. It's a lane splitter. And this is my favorite helmet as far as comfortability. Now, it doesn't have the visor in the front, but I'll tell you what, I love this helmet. It's super comfortable. In the wintertime, it doesn't have a vent here that you can close. So I put some blue tape. Pardon me. I put some blue painter's tape on the inside that keeps the wind out. But well, we've gone 48 minutes. Now there was another question or two there. Let me see if I can find it. I just ordered a Himalayan back in April, and I actually will be picking it up next week. Good for you. Same boat here, Randy. Okay. Himis are for good riders that enjoy the ride itself. My dealer ordered 12 and was able to get 4. Yeah, they're on lockdown down there in India. I know that. Going for a test ride at Himalayan tomorrow. Just sold my Street Triple. Big difference, but done with Speed. Speed Triples are great bikes, man. I love the Triumphs. I really do. It's not really me. Put it to you this way. It's not really going to be any different than what I've got in my 1200. A little bit faster, obviously, a little bit quicker throttle response. But if I want to go fast, I've got my Harleys, and again, they're not sport bike fast. Back in the day, I had a 1983 GS 1100 ES, and that thing was a rocket. And unfortunately, it's the only motorcycle I've ever wrecked because it was a rocket, and I was stupid. But anyways, neither here nor there. The helmet question, whatever fits you, whatever feel comfortable. Don't feel pressured about buying stuff. I had a question from a viewer that asked me what kind of ADV pants I wear in the summertime. See if I can back up. No, I can't back up, but I will dump the camera down. Jeans. I don't get too jumped up in all that. What am I going to say? What you should wear and shouldn't wear. You do you. You wear what you want to wear. If you want to wear the full ADV suit 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I could care less. Just on the same realm, don't goof on people who don't. Wear what you want to wear, do what you want to do, and be the person that you want to be. Again, I'm a Harley guy who loves the culture. I wear helmets now primarily for two reasons. Number one reason is YouTube. That way I can talk to you. Number two reason is Iron Lady and M's are riding now, and I want them to wear a helmet, and so I wear one whenever time I'm riding with them as well too. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's longer than I expected. It's almost an hour long. I was only going to do 20 minutes because that's usually what mine are. But as far as on Wednesday and Sunday, hopefully Wednesday there'll be a video. Let's hope. The computer I get now, I'm gonna have to learn to read. I got to down, since I lost everything on my hard drive, I've got to download all my apps back on there, including my my editing app and things like that. So wait, we have a question. Sean says, going to test ride Himalayan tomorrow, just sold my street. Okay, that's the one that's just on there. Wear ADV helmets even on HD. Stay safe, you all. Himalayan versus KT 390 AVV. Whatever fits your budget. They're really similar, except for I like the Himalayan better. Personal preference. Great chat. Cheers from UK. Again, I really hope and glad you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, hopefully on Wednesday there'll be a real video like I normally do. We're going to still do live streams. In fact, we may add a live stream once a week, but I've got to get more stuff built up as far as for editing and things. It's going to be a busy week or two or three to catch up to where I need to be, because like I said, I've got a lot of stock footage. I haven't been able to do anything with it, just sitting there and on a little, SD cards. Thoughts on the Triumph Tiger, the new one or the old one? Tigers are great, man. I really like them. They're too expensive for me. I can't touch them money-wise. And even the used ones are hyper expensive. Like I said, I'm budget-minded. What's up with the speed obsession on bikes? Exactly. Built for old Husky engineer. Take a look. Okay, well that's cool. I'll have to, if I see them. I had we only have a very few Royal Enfield dealers in Ohio. Luckily, one of them is called Throttle Company, which is in Columbus. But when I first started looking at Himalayans, there weren't any. There was 2.5, 3 hours away, but now there's one in Columbus, which is about a little over an hour away from me. So I can actually get over there and get parts when I need it. And that's one of the things I like about the Himalayan. You mentioned about the KTM. Look at the cost of maintenance. And that's one of the things that I have a video called, Is It Worth It? For the Royal Enfield Himalayan. Hello from Nepal. Hey, you're catching me at the bottom side, man. Hopefully you go back and you watch the entire thing. Maybe you can get better, because we're almost done here. Thoughts on the 21 upgrades to the Hemi? Prefer the older, larger racks with the model without. The 2021s, one of the things I love about them is the kickstand. It's shorter because the Himalayan on the older stands, like mine's a 2018, stands up nearly vertical, and on uneven surfaces, that's sometimes not so good. And I use a center stand. I always carry pucks with me to put underneath the center stand so it doesn't sink down in the dirt and fall over. But yeah, I like the shorter center stand on that. As far as the ABS, I'm glad they did. I don't have ABS on mine, which I don't like ABS. Well, I shouldn't say that. I really don't know anything about ABS other than the fact that I would never want it in the dirt. I turn it off, and you can do that on the newer bikes. You can turn it off, so that's good too. As far as the performance, are identical. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you have any more quick questions before I turn her off, I'll shut her down here in a second or two. Like I said, the gentleman from Nepal, I'm glad you joined us. We're a little bit late and running into this video. Make sure you go back and rewatch it. Let's see. Thanks for answering. Great chat. Again, there's not, if you're value minded, there's not a lot of them out there, but look at the used ones as well too, as long as they're not abused. Do you know if the Barkbuster Handguards fits the 2020? I do not. I am running, if you look back in the corner back there, I'm running the OEM, and they're perfect for me. I have no issues with them. And I've had the bike down on the ground on the side and didn't bend or didn't break. Appreciate the info. Guys, that's what we're here for. Entertain, hopefully, educate a little bit. I don't know everything. Anybody that says you know everything don't know anything. I took my ABS chip out. Love it. There you go. See, okay. Before I go, I got to mention this. I went over and played around a little bit with the new Harley-Davidson Pan America. Beautiful motorcycle. Love its looks. Love everything about it except for, I would never buy it. Too much stuff. Too much tech. If you're out in, let's say you're on the Trans-America Trail, or you're down in the mountains of South America or in India, and you're not anywhere close to any, and you have an electrical problem, you are screwed, blued, and tattooed. You're messed up. You're not going to be able to ride that thing. Too much technology. Beautiful. And the guys who are rich that are going to buy the Pan America simply because it's a Harley-Davidson, just like the guys that buy the BMW GS is simply because it's a BMW and they never take them off-road, more power to you, baby, because you're going to have a lot of fun with that motorcycle. For a guy who takes the thing and takes it off-road, I know. Well, I'm never going to get sponsored by any companies anyway, so I'm just going to say it. I would never buy one. Too much money, too much tech. You don't need it. One of the reasons why I love the Royal Enfield Himalayan, it is very low tech. And that to me is more important than anything else. I can fix anything on that motorcycle, and I can do it cheaply. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Now, there's no little thing there, but subscribe and hit that bell notification button. Prepare for the free giveaway on the headlights. That'll be in the next couple videos. There'll be a discount coupon as well, too, if you want to get one of these here. Again, metal case, headlight, possible for not only halo, but turn signals. Andy says, cheers. Appreciate the live chat. Hey, guys, I appreciate all you too. Again, headlight giveaways coming up from Super-E. I hope you enjoyed it again. Make sure you stay tuned to other videos that are coming up. Share, comment. I read all the comments and comment as many as I possibly can. Until next time, guys, ride safe and keep her on two wheels, baby. Let's see if we can end this by doing our song. Do-do-do-do.